All right, so we're going to be looking at the Season 8 patch notes. It's finally here. We have a new hero. We have some changes across the board, some new things. I'm excited. We got a new tank hero. Obviously, I play a lot of tank, so I'm looking forward to being able to put some time into playing some Mauga. But yeah, we're going through the Season 8 patch notes. I'll read everything here, and hopefully we enjoy this, and then, yeah, I'm excited. So, first of all, new hero Mauga. Introducing Mauga, a long-awaited tank hero who comes with a rapid-fire personality, massive stature, and brawl-centric abilities. First of all, the abilities are the Incendiary Chain Gun, which is a primary fire, which is your primary fire, automatic weapon that ignites enemies on repeated impacts. Now, that works very well with your secondary fire, which is the Volatile Chain Gun. Automatic weapons that's an automatic weapon that deals critical damage to burn an enemy. So, both of those are going to be fun, and there was some changes from the previous, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. There was changes from when you were able to test Mauga back during BlizzCon. Quite a bit's changed since then, so a much stronger hero. We have Overrun, which is you will charge forward and stomp to launch enemies. You are unstoppable while charging, so you can't be CC'd out of it. Then you have Cardiac Overdrive, where you'll have nearby allies take reduced damage and heal by dealing damage. This also benefits Mauga. Be able to heal yourself during that. Then we have Cage Fight, which is an ultimate in which you can deploy a barrier that traps yourself and enemies. And you gain unlimited ammo while inside. We do have a interaction video out right now also that kind of showcases some of those interactions. Look at it this way. If you're a hero with mobility in there, you're not going to be doing much. And then you have the Berserker passive, which gains temporary health when dealing critical damage. So, a fun kit, a very aggressive hero, a lot happening, but just a really fun hero overall. You got Battle of the Beasts. You fight in a powerful brawl with epic and powerful grand beasts in a fun 4v4 PvP vs. E game mode. The Battle of the Beasts. In a clash of grand beasts, protect yours while coordinating with your team to defeat the enemy beast. You'll be able to play Mauga for free as the only tank to play in this mode, or try your hand as one of the many other hunter-themed heroes and tear through the grand beast's health while trying to avoid powerful abilities. May the best hunters win. So, another fun event they're adding to the game. I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. They're always fun to have those in there, so I'm looking forward to trying it out on stream. Winter Wonderland 2023. Ring in the holidays with the Winter Wonderland event. Check out our heroes celebrating in style with all new holiday skins. Beat challenges and unlock one free legendary skin of your choice. You can choose from the stylish formal wear skins of Cassidy or Baptiste, or the cozy winter Jamie Zayari skin. Dive into the action with returning fan favorite event modes like May Snowball Offensive and Yeti Hunt. With new challenges and rewards, Winter Wonderland launches on Tuesday, December 19th. So keep in mind, the patch, we're reading these patch notes now, the season's on December 5th, and then 2 weeks from December 5th, you'll be able to participate in the Winter Wonderland event. So, where you will be able to get all that stuff. Which is really cool. Now, on to something that I didn't expect, and I'm really curious to see how this goes, which is weapon skins. Introducing weapon skins, a new way to customize your heroes. We're kicking things off with the hard light theme for Rhine, Reaper, and Mercy. These sleek designs with custom visual and sound effects can be equipped with any of these hero skins. Look out for other weapon skins coming in future seasons. We're excited about weapon customization, and this is just the first step. As we create more weapon skins, we want to hear about what you love about the skins. Your feedback is key as we evolve weapon skins and introduce new looks and more ways to customize your heroes. My initial thoughts on that, I like the idea of customization to your hero with that type of stuff. So being able to add something like this, especially weapon skins, I like the idea of that. I like the concept. I want to see how they are in game, of course, but I do like the idea of more customization to your hero. I think that people will, I personally will enjoy that and having more and more customization. And we're seeing that going to, even with Season 9. You're going to have more ways in comp to be able to do that. But I think that's also, one thing that Weapon Skins does now is it introduces multiple ways to have customization to your hero. Because currently, the only way you would get that type of customization is either through the skin itself, or you would have to play comp to get gold weapons and then soon to be emerald weapons, etc. But now, you're going to have a separate thing to that doesn't involve comp. So that is the cool part about that. Obviously, you have to kind of see how you get these, etc. But overall, I like the idea, I like the concept, and I'm curious to see how they look. General updates, endorsements. Endorsement score required to reach level 5 reduced. So getting to level 5, easier now. Endorsement score decay at level 4 reduced slightly. You won't decay out of level 4 as much. And endorsement score decay at level 5 reduced, meaning you won't decay out of level 5 as easily. Good changes. They're trying to make the endorsement system used more, and on top of that, being able to kind of maintain that endorsement level. Before, it was very difficult to get level 5. Even so, level 4, and in certain ranks, and depending on what you played, it was sometimes nearly impossible to get to 5. So they're making it a little bit easier, but I'm okay with that. Hero Mastery. There are going to be new heroes to the Hero Mastery. We'll talk about this here. The next wave of Hero Mastery courses will launch starting on January 2nd, 2024. In a 5-week event featuring a new course each week with new challenges and cosmetic rewards to earn. A new set of 5 Hero Mastery courses for Lucio, Mei, Diva, Echo, and Genji have been added. I'm looking forward to all of those. I've had fun with Hero Mastery. I think it's a cool feature in the game. I also think it's a good way as like an introduction to heroes, especially with if you don't want to go and play like a quick play to understand that hero, you can at least get some of the basics down in these Hero Masteries, which I think is always good to have that for trying something new and have that option. So I've always liked the idea and the addition of Hero Mastery. Lucio's course will unlock on January 2nd, and a new course for a new hero will be available every week for the next 4 weeks. So basically, starting January 2nd, you'll have each of those unlock until pretty much till the next season. An exciting new way to view Hero Mastery replays is now available. Replay bookmarks. Replay bookmarks can be enabled from Replay Viewer at any time. Once enabled, players can instantly skip to important moments during a run. I like this, actually. A list of bookmarks, course runs, and records is shown on the left side of the screen. Players can quickly choose bookmarks from here or by tapping the indicators on the replay skimmer. A new leaderboard for Hero Mastery courses released in Season 6 has been added. The previous leaderboard will return in a future patch for players to view anytime. So, I like the idea of that, adding more options to the replay viewer, especially when people start getting kind of like that speed running of the Hero Masteries to kind of showcase. You can like really bookmark those really clutch moments, cool moments in order to get that. So, once again, having this type of customization in additions to the game, I'm all for that. That's cool. Like for them adding these type of features like replay bookmarks and all that. Reticle changes. Extra reticle settings have been added to specific heroes with multiple weapon modes. Players can now customize the modes separately or keep them in sync. The following heroes have access to the new options: Ana, Ashe, Bastion, Lifeweaver, Mercy, Ramatra, Widowmaker. So what this means is essentially, if you want to have a different option when you scope in or when you're unscoped out, you can. If you want to have a different version when you go into turret form as Bastion, you now can. So I think these are, once again, good additions, and I like that they're starting to do that more and more. Obviously, they'll be adding that for more heroes if they need to and all that. A new option for the reticle's outline color has been added, and the outline opacity has been separated from the main opacity. Players who have previously hidden their dot by setting its opacity to 0 will now need to set the dot size to 0 instead. So you're going to have a little bit of stuff here you have to adjust with the crosshair, but you'll see all of that in game. Competitive play updates. MMR decay now only occurs for competitive play at the start of a new season. MMR decay is not applied to roles that qualify for a rank. Example, a player that won 5 games and got a competitive update will not decay at the end of a season. If a player does not have a rank already who won 3 games and did not get a competitive update, that player will decay at the end of the season. If the player does have a rank, they only need to play in 1 match in the season to keep their rank for the next season. Now, I imagine all of this is going to change in general, and here's the reason being for that. We have a new rank system being applied in February for Season 9. So, the competitive play updates, I don't know how much this will apply to when they add that, but it's almost time. We're a few months away from the new rank, Season 9. Hero updates. The maximum ultimate charge preserved on a hero swap reduced from 25 to 15%. I'll talk about this in a second. And then added hero-specific options to every character to adjust the rumble strength of each of their abilities. Here's a developer comment on that. Swapping heroes is fundamental to the gameplay of Overwatch, and this ultimate charge refund mechanic has done a great job of decreasing friction here. It has helped matches feel less one-sided as it functions as a soft comeback mechanic. However, it also helps reinforce the perception that it's almost always an advantage to counter swap upon dying, which ideally isn't always true and requires some consideration due to how powerful ultimate abilities can be. We are reducing the amount of ultimate charge preserved by a significant amount in order to see if the increased cost of switching meaningfully impacts player behavior, while retaining the benefits this mechanic provides. Now, I'll speak for where I'm at with this. When I make a swap on a hero, most of the time, that extra ult percentage I get, I don't take into account. Sometimes I'll be at 75, 80% ult charge on one of my heroes, but I recognize that it's not worth keeping that ult charge, and I'll switch heroes and just start. The strength of that hero will be more of a benefit to the using that ultimate. Now, there's so many different variables to that, but most of the time I'm not looking at that ult charge, the 25%, as my decision to switch off a hero or to like go to a stronger hero against what I'm playing against. Not saying that all players aren't doing that. There's going to be players that will benefit and want to do that because of the 25%, but I don't think my guess is it won't change much on that side of things. I could be wrong, and we'll have to see, especially when they get the data back on this, but I'm curious to see what that does. I really am curious, because that is a huge change. It wasn't like it went from 25 to 10. I think it was 30 to 25 last time, or sorry, I meant 25 to 20. It went 25 to 15%. So that is a huge change. That could change things. So we'll have to see. On to the tank buffs. Now, I say tank buffs. I think most of the tanks got buffed here. I think there's a couple, might be a nerf. There is a nerf, but for the most part, tanks got buffed. First of all, Doomfist, Meteor Strike, now regenerates 75 health per second while in the air, and the ultimate cost increased 16%. I'll read the developer comment on this one and then kind of talk about it. One of the most effective uses for an ultimate ability like Meteor Strike is to save it as an escape in order to grab a health pack instead of using it against his foes. Well, when I'm on Doom, I still go in there with 2 HP and get nobody, and then do 5 damage to him, but that is very true. A lot of the time, Meteor Strike is used as an escape, because when you escape, you also get to keep that charge punch, which is way more worth it than anything else. Doomfist will now recover health during the targeting phase, so that can be used more offensively, which means you can go into the air for a couple seconds, get most of your HP back, land, and be able to use all your cooldowns and abilities. It's gonna make the ultimate stronger. Granted, you will get the ultimate a little bit slower, and I think that's why they're changing it that way, and they're seeing what happens if Doomfist has less ultimates, but gets more value when you do use that ult. So it's a bit of a change, and we're gonna have to see how it feels. If it ends up being too strong, I imagine they'll adjust that by mid-season. It may not even be as good as possible because you're building your ultimate a lot slower. That's yet to be seen, so we're gonna have to find that out. Junker Queen. The scattergun spread reduced by 8%. Anytime you hear that the spread will be reduced by something for a hero, it's a good change. Tightening the spread on Junker Queen's scattergun will make it more effective at range against small targets and give her slightly more teamfight presence before fully committing to getting in close to the enemy team. What this means is just allowing Junker Queen to have a little bit more of that poke damage before a team fight starts. A lot of the time as Junker Queen, if you can't really get to a team and you're playing Queen, you have like this, you kind of have to maneuver around the map and hide behind this wall, that wall, etc. This allows you to do a little bit more of that poke damage. I don't know how noticeable it will be, but I imagine it'll be, it's not going to make Junker Queen worse, only better. Okay, Mauga. Now remember, bit of a change here. So, if you played Mauga at the beginning in November, I think these changes make Mauga a little bit better. So, base health reduced from 50 to 350, but the base armor increased from 0 to 150, which means that now you have 150 armor in place of that HP that was nerfed there. So you have the same HP, but 150 of it is an armor, and one thing I've always mentioned about armor is very strong in Overwatch. Head hit volume reduced 15%, which means that with your hitbox, you're not going to get critical damage as much. Once again, really good for you when playing that hero. Incendiary and volatile chain guns. The spread for fire in both guns reduced by 15%. As we just mentioned with Junker Queen, when you see that, that's going to be a good thing. So now it's going to be a little bit easier to be accurate with that. Fire rate multiplier for fire in both guns reduced from 25% to 0%. Some pretty good changes so far. Damage per shot increased from 4.5 to 5, so more damage. Damage fall off range increased from 25 to 30 meters, so you can do maximum damage or more damage even further. Max ammo increased from 300 to 350, so you have more uptime now. And movement speed penalty reduced from 20 to 15%. So all of that is going to lead to a much better experience when using your weapons as Mauga. Then you have Overrun, can no longer be interrupted by hacks. So when you overrun, you can't be hacked out of it. And the damage reduction went from 30% to 50%. That's a lot of damage reduction. So, and then Cardiac Overdrive, the lifesteal increased from 60% to 70%. So we're hearing all these buffs. Gonna be a much stronger hero. Granted, there will be the issue with like how, when you get slapped or like honor grenaded, etc. But overall, this is a huge buff. And then the Berserker passive, the overhealth conversion rate increased from 40% to 50%. So just an overall huge buffs across the board, should make a much stronger hero. And I think this should put Mauga into that safe side of strong, which is what they kind of aimed for at the beginning of seasons now with new heroes. That way it isn't kind of like when Lifeweaver was released and you had those issues there. All right. Developer comments now. We've got a lot of constructive feedback from players when Mauga was available to try during his free preview weekend. So he adjusted his kit for his official launch to give him the ability to last longer in a fight. And that's the benefit of having those earlier tests from a lot of players. There's a bunch of feedback you can get and then apply, because players got to play the hero and be like, this isn't working as well as it could. And now you have all these buffs. So that's the benefit of having these heroes, played a little bit earlier. So I'm curious to see where they go with this into the future, if they try to do that with Venture. And Venture will be the next hero in Season 10, which I think is April. So Ramatra! Might have heard this a little bit from the blog post. The base health reduced from 300 to 200. You go, wait, why an HP reduced? But now you get 100 armor. So that HP is now replaced with armor, which armor is very good in Overwatch. This is going to make Ramatra a little bit stronger outside of Nemesis form, which is what they're aiming for here. And the Void Accelerator projectile size increased from 0.075 to 0.1. This means that you're going to be able to do more damage with that, in the sense that it's going to hit more targets. You don't have to be as accurate with it, and your damage is also increased from 4.5 to 5. So overall, just a buff to Ramatra. This is just a buff to Ramatra straight up. Develop comments. Ramatra is quite powerful during his Nemesis form through his base Omnic form, but it may be too easy to ignore for a tank hero. We're adding some power there to even out the trade-offs between the two forms, with the Omnic form having even better range damage, while Nemesis form pummel can pierce enemies' defenses. So the idea is that you're just stronger out of Nemesis form, which this will make Ramatra stronger. Now, will it make Ramatra meta, or will you see Ramatra in all your games? I don't think so, but I think that Ramatra will be a much more... You'll probably see the pick rate go up for sure, and a much more viable pick. And here we go. Sigma! Experimental barrier. Regeneration rate reduced from 100 to 85 health per second. We kind of saw this coming with Sigma. Sigma hasn't had many buffs. I still think Sigma is one of the more well-balanced tanks. The idea behind this is making it so Sigma's shield will take a little bit more time to get back to full HP. I see why they did it, because, essentially Sigma became a must pick. A lot of that had to do with the amount of damage that's happening, and having one of the abilities to be able to kind of have good uptime, but then, it made Sigma more and more of a must pick. So I'm not surprised to see this. Sigma has just kind of started to become a much more dominant hero without any changes really happening. But the changes that have happened in Overwatch over the past year has made Sigma one of the more go-to tanks because of all that damage output. Sigma can just block that damage and has the ability to also create damage. For example, Reinhardt, you can hold your shield up, but it's really hard to get that damage output the whole time. You have to be close to them or be more aggressive. On the other side of that, Sigma can just kind of spam damage out during that, and I play a lot of Sigma, so obviously we see that, but that what they're doing now is making it so the shield regenerates a little bit slower, so you have to just kind of readjust your regeneration rate, or the way that you play your shield. Sigma still should be good, in my opinion. Winston! Tesla Cannon now ignores armor damage reduction. Great change for Winston. Winston's going to be really good. Basically, this will allow Winston to have a lot easier time against heroes like Brig. Any hero with armor, like Winston's going to have a good time against that. Even against D.Va a little bit, right? D.Va has a lot of armor. I think D.Va still will do okay against Winston, but the developer comment is, this is a special property for the Tesla Cannon intended to increase Winston's effectiveness against other tanks with large armor health pools, which we saw Ramatra and Mauga, for example, all have that armor now. So this is to kind of help against that too, right? And other tanks have it also. I was just referencing those changes that we saw in this patch. He still won't specialize in dealing with tanks since his single target damage output is low, but it will be less of an extreme disadvantage. Basically just makes it an easier matchup against other tanks, so you don't feel like you have to swap off because you can do a little bit more damage output. You won't go around, absolutely dominate another tank. It just gives you a little bit more of that damage output, which might have to force more heals and support and cooldown usage out of the other tank. All right, those are the tank changes. A lot of buffs, one nerf. Overall, I think it's good to see changes to that, and it might shift up some of the hero usage, which I think is what they're aiming for. Okay, on to the DPS. May! Endothermic Blaster, maximum ammo reduced from 150 to 120. Developer comment is we're reducing the maximum ammo to limit how long May is able to continuously slow an enemy target now that the primary fire deals more damage. So overall, it's going to be a good nerf. As a tank player, that 100 DPS on you the whole second was always an enjoyable time. This will just change the uptime on that a little bit. Still will be an interesting experience playing against May as a tank, but this will at least allow for a little bit more reload time and less of that happening. A little bit more counterplay to it. Soldier 76, Biotic Field cooldown increase from 15 to 18 seconds. I'll read the developer comment this one to explain that one. Developer comments, the soldier's self-sustainability is potent and makes him difficult to deal with while he's in its area. Rather than reduce its raw healing output again, we're increasing the amount of time between consecutive uses to open up longer periods of vulnerability. I want to talk about this for a quick second because people will look at that and be like, oh, okay. Like, that's it, like Biotic Field. But here's the thing. Rather than them nerfing the damage of Soldier, which we've seen happen so many times, or nerfing the Helix Rocket, or increasing a cooldown, they're just trying to make it so Soldier 76 can be a viable pick, but not make it so the hero, it just doesn't do anything. Because that's what happens when they make those damage nerfs. So I'm okay with this change, and we'll see where Soldier 76 is going into Season 9, which will be a couple months away. So I don't mind this change. I think this is just making it so you don't have to, in those 1v1 situations, or like soldiers on the flank running around in circles, there's just a little bit of more downtime happening between that. Sombra, EMP ability lockout duration increased from 1.5 to 3 seconds. I just want to point out that's only during EMP. They're not making it so when you get hacked, like just like not EMP'd, and they go up to you and right-click you. That's not. They're just making it so your lockout when EMP'd, because EMP wasn't strong. It was one of the weakest part of Sombra's kits right now. They wanted to make it better, so I understand it. Obviously, when I get EMP'd, I'm going to absolutely love not being able to use my abilities for 3 seconds, but at the same time, at least they didn't add it to the full kit the whole time. And then the damage reduced from 30 to 25% of current health. So you're going to go, right now you take 30% of your current health. When EMP, that's getting changed to 25%. That's just to compensate for the lockout duration. They're basically saying, we're going to make the lockout duration more powerful, but we're going to make it so you have a little bit more survivability during it. Developer comments, the 1.5 second lockout duration didn't feel impactful enough for an ultimate ability, but generally EMP is more interested and effective when it's focused on the disabling aspect rather than the damage, which is fair. So as a tank player, I'm absolutely going to love being the duration lockout for 3 seconds, but at the same time, I also understand why. So I'm okay with it. All right, Torb. Over health increase from 75 to 100 on Overload. The health decrease on Overload severely impacted Torb's overall effectiveness, so we're reverting that change. We'll see how that goes. Torb becomes a tank with Overload sometimes, so I'm just going to wait and see how that one plays out. Tracer, the Pulse Pistol's damage increased from 5.5 to 6. Now remember, used to be like that, but then there was some bugs at the beginning of Overwatch 2 with Tracer where you basically had no fall-off damage, and you basically had like a Soldier 76 laser. So they reverted that down to damage, but recently, they were able to fix that stuff. Here's the developer comments. This damage value has been changed a few times over the course of Overwatch 2 and is now back to Tracer's original damage. It was previously adjusted due to a couple of bugs, with the Pulse Pistol fall-off range and spread being much better than they should have. So, just to go back to that, we'll see how it goes. Tracer is one of those heroes that when you play against a really good Tracer, you're gonna know that. Overall, I think it will be fine. We'll see, though. Maybe I'll be able to play more D.Va because it's Tracer, right? That's the DPS changes for this current patch. Support, the patch for Season 8. For support, we got Baptiste. The Biotic Launcher primary fire ammo reduced from 45 to 36. This is just to get rid of some of the damage uptime. They're recognizing that BAP does a lot of damage. They're trying to reduce that damage by a little bit. One thing I'll say is when you have to reload, you're not doing damage during that time. So they're trying to just have it so you reload a bit more during it. Developer comments. Baptiste has a high amount of sustained damage in addition to his various survival tools. We would prefer to keep his long cooldown abilities feeling impactful, so we're going to be pulling back on some of his damage potential here. This is basically they want to, like I said, keep his long cooldowns feel impactful, but also reduce how much of the damage output is happening. We'll see how it goes. You might see further changes. I don't know yet. Brigitte, whip shot damage reduced from 80 to 70. Brigitte ended up being the best performance support hero in the game by a fair margin since the last patch. It's likely a result of more than just the damage breakpoint change that she received, but it was a significant increase to her offense, so we're reverting it and we'll continue to evaluate further. So what's being said here is they recognize that it could probably is more than just the whip shot damage here, but they're trying something first and then seeing where Brig ends up. I still think Brig will be very strong. One thing I will say is Winston will match up better against Brig now, but I think you'll still see that Ana Brig style comp people will play. Keep in mind when you're playing Brig can keep the other support alive so easily that you make your other support unkillable. So I think that will be something they look into too, especially with the burst heal and the armor packs, but step in the right direction. We'll see where they go with it later on. Okay, so now we have a Kiriko change, which this is interesting. Kiriko, heal and Ofuda, projectile speed increased from 14 to 18 meters per second. So what this means is that you can heal a little bit further now and a little bit faster. And then Protection Suzu invulnerability duration reduced from 0.85 to 0.65, which is a nerf. And the heal and explosion has increased from 40 to 80. So, what's happening here? The Suzu isn't lasting as long now, but you're also healing for 80 now in the heal and explosion. So they're kind of changing the ability to make it stronger with the heal. Let's read the developer comments. Reducing the Protection Suzu invulnerability time further will help it feel less frustrating to play against, but still enable it to have big playmaking moments, although with a stricter timing requirement. To counterbalance that power loss, we're making Kiriko's healing more reliable. So, be interesting to see how the healing Ofuda change happens. This could allow for you to play a little bit further back now. Something you have to test in game. Yeah, overall, interesting change. Basically, the invulnerability change will kind of change some of the timings you have. So when they, what's the best way to put it? You're gonna be able to. You're gonna have to really get better with your timings, because sometimes like you'd be like a Sigma ultimate and you would use your Suzu a little bit earlier, but it would still, you'll still be invulnerable when you land. This kind of keeps eliminating those timings to where like there's a little bit more counterplay to Suzu now, which is what they're trying to aim for without having to really like change the ability by a ton. Mercy. Let's see. Valkyrie. Activating Valkyrie no longer disconnects the staff from its target. Developer comments, this is just a small quality of life improvement to help keep Mercy healing or powering up her allies without penalty for acting her ult. So when you use your ult now, it won't disconnect from the target you're on. It will automatically stay on that target. Those are the hero changes. I'm curious to see what people think, how it will play out. Either way, every season we always have a bit of a shift in the meta and the shift of hero strength and what they can do, so we'll see what happens. Map updates. You got new holiday decorations to the following maps. You got it on Rio, New Queen Street, and Gibraltar. So I'm curious to see what those look like. And then you have new lighting scenarios. Antarctic Peninsula has a morning map. That'll be cool to see, actually, because the current map has, like, people call it, like, a little bit gloomy at times with how it looks. So I'm curious to see how it is with the morning map. Then some bug fixes. Hero Mastery fixed the case where Tracer would be unable to pick up an ultimate canisters while blinking, and then fixed the bug that could result in the agent course remaining locked despite the obtaining 3 stars in the recruit course. I don't know what those were, but hopefully that is good. Story missions fixed a bug in the Rio mission that could result in the charger failing to charge valid targets. I'm sure that's always a good time. Other fixes we have here: fixed the bug that caused Rumble to be activated by other heroes in the match using their abilities. Fixed the bug with Rumble activating for other players when viewing kill cam. Fixed the bug in the hero gallery that could result in heroes being incorrectly posed after interacting with the random from favorite system. Fixed a general issue where heroes could jitter when frozen. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know many of these, but sounds good they fixed them. Maps. Basan fixed parts of the maps where players would be able to escape the map of a playable space, and they fixed areas where players get stuck. Always good to have those fixes. Horizon Lunar Colony fixed an area of the map that could prevent players from moving. I didn't even know people were playing that map. Nepal fixed a drum that could cause players to become stuck on it. Haven't had that happen, but I'm sure that was fun. Samoa fixed some areas of the maps where players will become stuck. Happens. Glad they're fixing it. Cassidy fixed the bug that could cause the hindered text to remain on the screen after having it cleansed. Echo fixed an interaction with Zarya and Echo's duplicate, which could result in Zarya not being able to apply their own particle barrier for a few moments after being duplicated. So that's a good bug fix. Hanzo resolved the bug that made it appear as though Sonic Arrow was not fully charged, even if it was. Ayari fixed a bug with Hail and Pylon sound effects persistent after being destroyed. I did mention that as a bug before, like seeing that happen, so I'm glad that's fixed. Lifeweaver fixed an interaction with Tree of Life, applying overhealth to May and Cryo Freeze. That's good. Mauga fixed a bug with Burn Dot not being applied and still reset in progress, and fixed a bug with movement speed reduction not being applied when firing a single gun. So those are both good changes there. Orisa fixed an interaction with Terra Surge and Bastion in assault mode that resulted in Bastion not being pulled inwards during the ultimate. Fixed a bug with the tip of the spear achievement not activated correctly. And then Roadhog fixed the bug with Pigpen where it would fail to damage some deployable items from other heroes. Examples, Ice Wall, Tree of Life, Winston's Barrier Projector, etc. Resolved the bug that allowed Pigpen to be placed on basketballs. Oh, come on. That sounds fun. And then the last change, or bug fix, and the last of these patch notes, Sombra fixed an issue with the virus not being correctly amplified by Baptiste's amplification matrix, fixed a bug that caused the stealth overlay to cause the screen to be darker than intended. So, a lot of changes, a lot of stuff in this patch. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy this. Also, let me know what you think about me, like, kind of doing this a little bit earlier rather than, like, reacting to it live. I'm still going to react to it live and when we watch it and all that, but let me know what you think. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Sub to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. This video is on the 2nd channel where we do a lot of this React stuff, and I would like to put more in here, but definitely let me know what you think. There's a lot of awesome videos on all 3 channels. If you look at the description below, you'll see, like, my Discord, my stream, my Twitch, everything. Follow everything if you haven't. We have a great time on there. Like I said, we record a lot of stuff live, too, so make sure to check out the stream if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching the videos, and with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day/night.